my question is about the airport. Philosophical. We're looking at spending $4.5 million for 2026. So I guess my question is, how much are we bringing in to pay for that? And do we even need that airport anymore? Is that something that we can sell or give to the county or give to the state of Illinois or a private user? Because if we're paying $4.5 million and we're generating, I don't know, a couple $100,000 in fuel costs or fuel fees and stuff, it doesn't make sense for us to do that because I don't see the benefit. So if you can chime in more of a big picture type of thing, why are we even doing this? I've always had that question, and I just think we need to go back to that because I think we'll keep losing money on it. It's not generating anything for us, and I don't know any collateral benefit it gives to the city either. So that's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, from the funding standpoint, I believe that one is another fund that's relatively solvent. Looks like this year we're predicting 26 revenues of a little over 4 million and expenditures of about 4.5, but it's got an existing balance, so we are showing a positive end-year balance. So
It does have some subsidy though, and I think
Yeah.
if we flip to the revenue side, we'll see that. Let's see. Yeah, it has a subsidy of 2026 and 2025 of 200,000. So that's a redirection of home rule sales tax to that one.
But you understand, I mean, so you said we got 4 million coming in revenue? Is that from the sale of gasoline out there, and what else would that be?
Leases?
Yeah.
Leases, okay.
Yeah, leases.
Go ahead.
Let me go to the podium.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. Again, Steve Andrews, airport manager. I think where this gets a little bit confusing is, first of all, our CIP, our big expenditure projects, they're typically funded 95% by federal and state, and then we're 5% local. And I'm not sure I understand the accounting. I've never really understood it. But when a big project comes in, the city of Aurora puts on their books the entire amount for the project, even though our share is only 5%. So, and to what Brian said, we typically subsidize the airport, or the airport subsidized by the city, to the tune of about $200,000. And you may recall that there's a solar farm that's going to be constructed in the near future. I can't recall the exact amount of money. I thought it was around $100,000 a year. I could be wrong. But we are looking for different ways to help get rid of that subsidy. But I also think that some of the confusing aspects of the way the accounting is shown may add to the additional confusion. Brian, I don't know if you can
Yeah,
speak
I can speak to that. So essentially what the city records or budgets for is anything, a cost or revenue that flows through our accounts. The things that do not touch our accounts, that are completely paid for by the federal government, we don't touch. So in other words, that on the revenue side, what Steve's talking about, yes, there are a number of expenditures that come out related to federally supported projects. The other side of that coin is the grant money. So that's a lot of what's hitting the revenue side. I think it's pretty much, that tells the story.
Yeah, so I think you mentioned $4 million, or somebody did revenue.
Yeah.
That's probably where that's coming from. It's not from fuel sales, even though that offsets our expenditures in the operations aspect. But we still subsidize to the tune of about $200,000 at this point.
Okay, so that's not that bad. But so I guess going forward, and that's reasonable. I would almost like us to think about what's the benefit even going forward, or can we generate more? Can we make it a money maker? And I think we've always talked about that. It's just a matter of how to do it. And I know there's confusion going out there right now with different leases and stuff like that. And I know it's going to tighten up someday, but you know, if we're losing money, you know, we've got to say at the end of the day, what are we getting out of that? You know, what is the long term? You know, why? You know, are we having people that are coming to the casino and are going to fly in there and they're going to make revenue from them gambling? You know, what is the benefit? So I think maybe going forward we could take a look, because I don't know if you sold that airport to private or let the county take over, or the Regional Transportation Authority, would that be a benefit to us? So I guess going forward, especially with times of struggling in the budget, that maybe there's a way to generate more revenue or sell it to get a lump sum. So if we could take a look at that.
Yeah, I would just add that, you know, this new administration, I think, is taking a harder look, probably more so than ever before, in terms of revenue out at the airport or by the airport. There's MFT money. It's not motor fuel tax, it's aviation fuel tax. There's some money that we're trying to get back to the tune of about $700,000 currently. But I think ultimately, if we can change the I'll call it the tax on the sales tax of fuel, if you want to call it that, that hasn't changed since 1980 something. But all the leases for the fixed-based operators have been, they locked in, you can't increase it more than 1 cent, or maybe it was 10% or I'm sorry, 1%. So it's never been done.
Right.
So had we been doing that, we're at a nickel a gallon right now, which is what it was in 1980 something.
Mm-hmm.
And if we would have charged that nickel a gallon for the last or a penny every year for the past 40 years, we'd be pretty competitive.
Sure.
And I attend the Illinois Airports Conference every year. For a public airport, as the city of Aurora, as a sponsor in this case, we do actually pretty well. I mean, $200,000 underwriting or subsidy really isn't all that bad. But the numbers, make you think when you see that 4 million.
Right.
So.
And that gas, jet or airplane fuel tax is on our radar to deal with that.
Okay. All right, that's the only question I had. Thank you.
Okay, if I can just piggyback on it, and I'm going to give it to Alderman Bug here, since you're up here too.
Sure.
Whatever happened to that big idea about going after federal approvals and getting our runways for bigger jets and planes coming in?
I'm not
previous
sure I
administration.
understand.
Are we changing that? We're going to have we can anticipate a new outlook for the airport.
I don't think I comprehend what you're.
Can I chime in on that? Our runway, right, have you talked about the
Yeah.
length of the runway for bigger
Yeah,
airplanes?
that's-
6,500 feet. It's the same as Midway, so 737s can land there, so I don't know
Correct.
how much bigger we'd want.
But you have to, but the thing is, where is the mine concept moving forward? And that's what I'm asking.
Well, I can tell you right now, from a runway standpoint, we have a north-south runway, an east-west runway, and a diagonal runway. The north-south runway is being decommissioned, so part of our operational budget, very small part of it, we increased our engineering fees because we're dealing with the feds right now to decommission that runway. But there is no, I don't think there's any plan for any
Okay.
runway
All right.
reconfigurations or extensions. If that's what you're asking,
Not
I
say,
don't
but
think
to
so.
have them land there, don't you ever require approval? I thought I recall there was some public commentary about expanding the type of planes coming in terms of size.
There would have to be some kind of public comment and approval, which would go through the feds, but the only thing we're considering right now is the decommissioning of that north-south runway, which technically has to go through that same process. But, yeah, I don't think there's any discussion about,
Sure, okay, all right.
there's just like there is a comprehensive plan for the city, streets and so forth, there's also an airport layout plan, which is similar in nature, shows ultimate build-out. There's no change in the runways, but there is sections of the airport property that are shown for new development. But I know that I'm right around your issue, but I don't think I'm nailing it.
No, it's all right. I don't want to take more time here from the committee.
I mean,
on
if
this
you,
subject, but,
we can talk offline
Yeah,
if you have more
absolutely.
information, and I can figure out what you're trying to drive at.
I'm going to turn it over to Alderman Bug, and then I'll come back with my own questions. if you don't mind,
Thank you. I'm just going to follow up to what Alderman Franco said, and it's a great point. A number of years ago, under the last administration, we had a number of meetings about the airport, Mr. Andrus, and we talked about trying to get better utilization. And we talked about the other airports in the area, same size, similar size, who do fly-ins, who do all kinds of events. So we started talking about that to the airport board, of course. We started talking about that, planning some things, and then COVID hit. All those plans went on the back shelf, and we dealt with COVID. So kind of what happened, but we do have the #1 EAA program in the country, so that's definitely a feather in our cap that we need to continue to push and let people know about. And yeah, it's a great starting point. We do a lot of free flights for the kids, more than any place else in the country. So we got to find ways to make that happen, better utilization.